Boys and girls, welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues. In the last episode, the last thing we did was we brought Dr. Boros Gabriel's bowl. I don't really remember what we did before that. Partially because I'm dumb and partially because I don't really think it mattered that much. I think we went on the hunt for the jukebox audio files, but we couldn't get them all because one of them is behind a locked door that we have to progress the plot for, and apparently I've also never used this chemistry set. Homemade stim packs, fantastic. So, whenever we talked to Dr. Boros at the end of last episode, it gave us a quest to talk to all of the, floating robot boys. So, we're gonna do that, but first I'm gonna do a little exploring to see what I can snag that matters, if anything for that matter. And then after we talk to these guys, we might have to just progress the main plot because we might just be out of things to do. Because Old World Blues, you get your money's worth in this DLC from exploring, and I think we've pretty well explored the places that are important. So it may just be time to progress the main plot. I don't think there's actually anything in any of these rooms except for... I know Dr. Mobius's room has a metric fuck ton of mentats. I don't think any of these other rooms have anything super interesting. Matter of fact, this room had the most lucrative loot session out of any of the rooms so far, and it just had some 44 Magnum ammo and a bobby pin. And then yeah, this is Mobius's room because it has ammo and a scientist glove if you're into it, and mentats. And Radaway? And a radiation suit. Actually, nah, Dr. Mobius's room just has the best loot. Full stop. And Mobius's glasses, if you're into that. What do Mobius's glasses do? Intelligence +2 and explosives +10. And Dr. Klein's scrubs are science +10, intelligence +2. So if you put on those two pieces of armor, you basically just become a genius capable of pretty much anything in the game. So, the more you know. As I continue to explore, alright, that's pretty much everything. What's in this box? Empty. I already took the stuff. What's in this box? Nothing interesting. Did I already talk to you? We already started with Dr. Boros last episode, so I guess it would make the most sense just to pick up with him and continue the rest of his dialogue options, so...
Come for hello? Oh, I'll give you a hello. A hello unsurpassed in all creation.
Very cool. Alright, what's up, brother? Hello.
So, you put down Gabe. Thank you. A scamp, but really, his highly augmented combat programming could have proved meddlesome. In any event, thank you for putting him down. One less test subject to catalog and sort. Clearly a failure of Doggy's cybo-engineering.
Okay, so I was expecting there to be a follow-up dialogue from me to him about that comment, but I think I might have already expended that last episode. However, there is a different dialogue he gives you if you manage to get Gabe out without him dying, I think. It's happened like one time because the circumstances you fight Gabe in or meet Gabe in are like incredibly unlikely for him to survive. Either people kill him because they think he's a threat to them, so they kill him, or like in my playthrough, the robot scorpions killed him. Either way, if you manage to get Gabe out alive, I'm pretty sure there is another dialogue he will give you. But who are you? What do you do here?
Before you is the brain of Dr. Boros, head of animology, beastology, and DNA scrambling technology here at Big Mountain. I lay the bones and hearts of animals bare beneath my searing gaze, especially the dogs. I did so love dogs once. Especially Gabe, that rascal. But there are many animals to shape. Industrious cazadors, the happy-go-lucky night stalkers. They are my living, breathing DNA test tubes.
So we already figured this out whenever we visited the DNA splicing lab. I can't remember what designation it has, but this is where the Cazadors and the Night Stalkers have came from. But I guess now we would be figuring out that Dr. Boros is the one responsible for that facility, for those facilities, and he's the one responsible for the beasts overall. I guess I did this backwards because most people probably talk to the doctors before they go out and explore. I did it backwards because I've played this DLC before. So you're responsible for the Cazadors?
Indeed. Docile, curious, safe, sterile. They are contained here at Big Mountain to preserve DNA and for observation.
Okay, so the way these guys are programmed, the contained at Big Mountain thing, that's not gonna fly because he doesn't think there's anything outside of Big Mountain yet. And so we'll go with option one. What makes you think they haven't escaped?
Because Big Mountain safety measures are far more sophisticated than their primitive animal instincts. We are their lords and masters.
I don't think they're sterile. They breed, all right?
I cannot expect a lobotomite to understand the careful surgical castrating procedures used in their creation. Perhaps a demonstration of my castrating power would settle your doubts.
Go ahead, you might make me more fertile or impregnate me.
Impregnate you? What? Do you want to make me vomit inside my tank? The mere notion makes the edges of my biomed gel crystallize into asymmetrical patterns.
You see, we can't tell him that they escaped and went to the Mojave because he doesn't accept the Mojave exists yet. But we could just show him a Cazador egg. Like, those exist, Night Stalker eggs too. We could just show him the eggs that they're literally reproducing. But, whatever. You don't seem to have a grasp on your own research.
Nonsense! That is what you speak. Nonsense from beyond. I was at the top of my high school class in American high school. I knew facts. I knew figures. I knew data. We would know if our research was flawed. It is not. We never contradict ourselves, so do not even try.
Yeah, it's just gonna send these guys into a logic loop because they don't think they can do anything wrong because they're geniuses. Alright, then when do you create the Cazadors?
In 2000, let's see, carry the 3, then count backwards with the Great Static, or beyond. There were the tarantula debates, and something about hawks, which made it around 2003, May, Tuesday. It was definitely Tuesday. Why are we even debating this? What you ask is of no importance. Mobius besieges us. There are more important things to worry about than data and facts.
I want to know about Mobius in the Forbidden Zone.
The malignant tumor that is Mobius plagues us all. His hunger for power, insatiable. From his lair in the Forbidden Zone, his terrifying robo-scorpion army clicks and whirs across the crater of Big Mountain, ever seeking, ever stinging. He must be stopped, or all of Big Mountain shall be destroyed.
Okay, tell me about the radar fence. I mean, we already know about the radar fence, but what is he gonna say about it specifically?
The radar fence protects us all. If evidence is correct, the one who built it is me. It keeps anything with a disembodied brain inside, like us, and anything without a brain also inside. It is the ultimate defense against communist aggression. There'll be no infectious ideas on my watch.
So I get my brain back, I can leave?
What? Why would you do either of those things? That is madness. There is nothing outside Big Mountain. We're pretty sure. We would know. Ever since my anxiety-filled days of powerlessness and being bullied in American high school, I have dreamed of such security as the fence. That and giant cybernetic dogs that would ruthlessly patrol and kill anyone who wasn't my friend, like Richie Marcus and Betsy Bright. Who's laughing now, Betsy? I hope you and Richie are happy smoking in your radioactive coffins. I'm glad you never came to my birthday party.
Again, we can't ask him this because he's just gonna go back to the logic of what he said. There's nothing outside of Big Mountain, so we'll go with option one.
No! Beyond is death. despite mounting evidence to the contrary. No matter where these strange humans wander in from with their ideas and new brains, there is nothing beyond Big Mountain.
Doesn't that prove you're wrong?
Enough! Stop filling my precious brain cell units with irrelevant data. You sound like the other visitors, making wild claims of a world beyond, where there is a war beyond war. It is unproven and unthinkable. Bother the other doctors with your crackpot theories. I have no time. None of us do.
Alright, I think there's another option, but I don't really care what he has to say about these, so that is all we're going to talk to Dr. Boros about.
Until next time, then.
So moving down the list, let's go talk to Dr. 8, who is going to be full of conversation. Completed. Speak to Dr. 8 if you can. What was that? Did something happen with your voice module? That is, too bad, or good, or something. Pretty sure you can understand me. I want some answers. Who are you? Good to meet you. Double circle, a dash, whoever. Do you know anything about Dr. Mobius or the Forbidden Zone? Alright, just calm down. Didn't mean to alarm you. Can you tell me about these technologies Klein wants? You sound agitated, or you're percolating, or something. Tell me about the big empty. Would you rather I call it the big shithole? No need to get indignant. I just asking a question. Science perception. Wait, after listening a bit, that's Robco Termlink Protocol you're broadcasting, right? Or perception 7, you're emitting characters and patterns of 8 bracketed with a tone adjustment at the end. Sure, I guess we picked up on both of those. You could pass either skill check if you've done that. I think you actually have to talk to him through a lot of his dialogue options to get this, because otherwise I don't see where this would have popped up. So if you want to get the skill checks for Dr. 8, you have to talk to him. We will go with the science check. I'm just full of surprises. That gave us a quest which I'll look at in a second, or it's gonna pop up, isn't it? Investigate 8's term link code, alright. Nice pun on the header file ref. I agree, if someone would take the time, you're more than just sound effects in a tank. Science 75, if that's Robco Termlink Protocol, doesn't that mean it can be hacked? There's no reason to be mean to him, especially considering we already passed the skill check. Even if there's another one beyond that, I don't want to do it again, so... If that's Termlink code, don't worry, I'm not going to take advantage of your expose code. We gained karma for that. Cool. And that completes his quest. Not a problem. I know what it's like to be experimented on. About when I first arrived, tell me you didn't ejaculate into the, my sonic emitter. Nothing to be embarrassed about, it's just that it's best to keep that stuff private, you know? Now that we know each other better, can you tell me about the sonic emitter? Really? Huh. No, I've been there. Higgs Village, right? Your house is there? I wish I knew what the context of this message was, because I definitely did rob his house, but that's fine. So there's an emitter code in your house in Higgs? Yeah, we already found it. I may have already picked up both. I grab almost anything that is not nailed down. Considering we completely explored Higgs Village last episode before, I definitely found both of those things, so we're not gonna go back. I got the emitter fully upgraded. It's a little slow to fire, but the force field disabling frequency is handy. Are you okay? You look really happy. You should be proud. It's a nice device. Oh, he gave us 100 energy cells. Cool, cool. Oh hey, I already clicked both of these dialogue options at some point. I don't remember when. I guess it would have had to have been during the opening barrage of dialogue. But thanks, don't want it to run out, you're right. And that's the only option that's there, so I'll be going now. Funnily enough, there's a conversation happening, but it's pretty one-sided from our POV, but the courier seems to understand term link code. That's fine, I don't, but we'll talk to these two and then go up to talk to Dr. Klein, because I feel like he'll probably be the one that wants to be last. But this is Dr. Dalla. This is Dalla. Let's talk to Dalla.
You are an unusual specimen to so boldly walk into the mighty expanse of the think tank, fearless and proud as a teddy bear. Between the extraction of their higher reasoning abilities and urination-inducing fear, most lobotomites dare not approach us, let alone speak to us. Yet you have no such fear. Facing me, epidermis flushed with blood, plasma running molten beneath, your face contorting with muscular expression. Will you indulge me? Say a few words. Face towards the monitors, please, so that I might record it for further examination.
The quick scribe jumped over the lazy paladin.
Yes, yes, go on. Seeing your lips and mouth forming the words, both revolting and somehow... How does it feel to have the flesh roll around in your mouth like that? To control each muscle and the tongue, like having a fish or extremely dexterous slug lolling and flopping in one's malval cavity.
Perception 8, I can't help but notice your fascination with the human body. Quest added coming out of her shell. What is the objective for this one? Get to the bottom of Dalla's biological fascination. Alright, Perception 8.
What? Nonsense.
Close eyelids, breathe deeply, stretch languidly. Languidly? I don't know what that word is, I'm stupid, I guess.
What? What are you doing?
That was the entire quest. Okay, it lasted one dialogue option, and we got the level up from it, for sure. Run your hands along the sides of your face, then exhale rapidly.
Stop it. Why? Why are you making me partake in this filthy formography?
Turn around and cough roughly, then slowly scratch nose.
Enough. I am already intrigued. You have sufficiently percolated me. I don't know what it is about the biology of lobotomites. It infects my thoughts. All that skin and muscle and tissue.
Why don't you just give in? There's nothing wrong with looking at the human body.
Perhaps there is value in what you say. I did so enjoy breathing once, long ago.
I could come back any time and just breathe, if you want.
Would you? I feel so ashamed, but yet so intrigued. You'll need to give me a rest in between visits, or else my jaw might run over. If you're ready, Let me radar scan you. Slowly. Woo. Woo. Burble, burble, woo. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Burble. Ba, ba, bloop. Ba, ba, bloop. Ba, ba, bloop. Whew. Last little bit there. Thank you, lobotomite. Please, you must come back for further study when I've had a rest. I'm a little sensitive right now.
All right. Fantastic. I feel like that should have been the end of the quest, but, you know, who am I to question whatever just happened? Who are you and what do you do here? Let's see, is that the best question we could ask? Again, I don't really care about these two options. So yeah, who are you?
Why, my little bear of teddiness. I am Dr. Dalla, first head chief researcher of mineralogy and medicinal sciences. I have 211 doctorates in both applied sciences and techniques to apply those sciences. I also possess a degree in curiosity and advanced curiosity. That is merely schooling, however. When possible, I prefer fieldwork and observation to holotape eidetics. It has proven useful, especially now. I have become the expert on humanology and lobotomite behavior here at Big Mountain. My research doesn't descend into formography. It is only science.
You were probably supposed to ask that question before you did what we just did, because she's still deflecting, but we already cracked that code and she admitted to it, so that's fine. 211 doctorates, how is that even possible?
Why, we create not only scientific marvels here at Big Mountain, but new sciences as well. Everything can be quantified, categorized, and dissected until every group can be subgrouped or partitioned.
First head chief researcher? A lot of titles.
What is a name without a title or suffix for the sake of hierarchy? It is a long-standing quantification of personality and importance. We could not do without it. Surely you must be aware of the gravity of such attached appellations, just as surely as you must have a title.
I'm sometimes called a courier.
Oh, a mailman. A delivery man. Someone who takes parcels from place to place using their primitive feet or similar conveyance. You are the second one I've met in recent times. Very different specimens.
There was another courier?
Of course. You must have met others in your travels. This one had met other couriers too, although it sounded as if he hadn't met the correct one. He asked us all many questions, and then he asked a most perplexing one. We had to segment the event out of our memories for safety.
What was the question? They're not gonna remember.
I do not know, nor should we try to access it. Perhaps Klein has the logs. My evaluation would be to let your own curiosity go. I do not think that Klein remembers the conversation as being satisfactory.
Quest added, he came and went. Asked Dr. Klein about the conversation he had with the last visitor. Yeah, we'll do that whenever we talk to him. We already know about the pacification field. It was like one of the first things they told us when we walked into the think tank. And we also know why they removed our brain. Their reasoning for removing our brain is because that's what they do. They remove brains. They lobotomite people. Their reasoning for why they lobotomite people is because it's what they do. They lobotomite people. And then they already explained in the beginning that the autodoc is the one that took out my brain. So there's not really a lot of other dialogue I'm super interested in, but we've spoken enough.
Until our next interaction.
And we leveled up during that conversation, so repair to 100. And now we get to pick which of our skills we've invested nothing into we want to start leveling up. So let's put 7 into explosives and the last 5 into barter, because what else would we actually use it on? Which brings us to Dr. O, later Dr. Zero.
Breaking news. Talking lobotomite arrives in think tank. Its purpose, unknown. Undefinable. Its presence here, impossible.
I think you mean impossible.
Oh, really? Now the lobotomite is a master of the dictionary arts. What, do you have a doctorate in verbology? No? I do. And stop the presses. Just in from my eye monitors. Is that Robco Tech on your arm? It is. What's your agenda bringing that in here?
What, my Pip-Boy?
How dare you bring Robco Tech in here? What, are you showing off? How great Robert House and his big company are?
Oh, we can make Securitrons better than any robot those geniuses at Big Mountain can make, and they'll last 1,000 years.
You're lucky I don't have hands to tear that dip boy off your arm, or feet to stomp on its stupid metal guts. Ugh. Damn Robco.
Okay, so yeah, if you couldn't tell by the house we went into at Higgs Village that had the picture of Mr. House with the knives thrown into it, Dr. Zero doesn't like Mr. House or Robco. I don't think I'll worry you by telling you what House and his robots have been up to since.
Worry about House? Why would I do this? Hope he died alone in a dingy room, streaming his last remaining bodily fluids into jars. And him and his dirty girl bots. Don't even get me started on those filthy biological catcher's mitts.
So apparently he knows or has some idea, somehow. Calm down, just wanted to ask some questions.
Fine. Ask.
What do you do here?
All things robotical. You see a robot? I made it. See a broken robot? I made it that way. Deconstructed it down to parts. I have a gift with machines. I can render anything inoperable. Preserve them in a non-functioning state.
That doesn't sound impressive. Breaking machines, that is.
Who asked you? You just wait until a working machine threatens you, and you'll wish I was around.
Do you have another name?
Yeah, I do. It wasn't always O. I just took that one by default because sometimes it's easier to accept the mistake as long as the purpose works. I don't want to get into it. It's a sore topic with me. Makes my gel ripple.
Speech 65, are you sure? I'm a good listener. Got the ears for it. And we got another quest, which will probably be resolved in one dialogue click. See if you can resolve O's problem with his name.
Great. Psychology. Clearly the worst of the sciences, right after colostodiuretics. Okay, so my name is an O. Never was. It was circular, a single character, digit, but not O. But even with enhanced sensors, no one here could get it right. Always kept seeing the letter, not the number.
Intelligence 7. If they kept confusing the letter with the number, your name is Dr. O. Dr. Zero?
Yes, thank you. Zero. I am zero. How hard is that? A narrow, thin zero.
I don't know. O sounds more impressive.
Zero's my name. I'm proud of it, all right? It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Truth be told, my emotional attachment to it doesn't even register compared to just having people recognize the difference. It's just that they're both sort of round and hollow, so when they monitor scan them, they assume that, oh, it's O. Vivisect me, please.
Intelligence 7 of 9. Can I back out and come back to this? Because I can get my intelligence up to 9. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Let's go to my stuff, put on these.
Did I do something wrong?
I want to talk to you about your name.
What about it? I don't feel like arguing it with you, too.
Intelligence 9. If you wanted to differentiate the O and 0, just put a slash through the 0.
What?
0. Draw a slash through it.
Did I shoot myself with a brainial beam or something? That's brilliant. I mean, I would have come to the same conclusion. Eventually. Oh, who am I deceiving? I never would have figured that out. I can't figure anything out. I'm useless.
And that's what makes you truly a 0. Oh my god, so is that what you want to be?
Exactly. At least the old name was indisputable. O is more like surprise. Oh, look what I stepped in.
Well, there's power in zero. It reduces anything multiplied against it to zero.
Well, of course it does. That's the most lethal of mathematics. That's pretty cool, actually. Destroyer of numbers. I already wreck every robot I study. Why not basic arithmetic? I like your solution. With that kind of slash in the middle, I can set myself apart. If I wanted to. To make a zero in all the think tank, they won't be able to escape it. That diagonal slash right down the middle. Thanks. Talking to you, it really helped unclog some frustration. Talking. What a primitive form of thought kicking.
Alright, so we've helped him fix his problem. If you go around and help all the robots with their quests, like doing the Gabe thing for Dr. Boros, figuring out the code problem with Dr. 8, talking to Dr. Dala about being a human, and then fixing his problem with O and Zero, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, it helps the end part where they try to fight you, because you've helped them, you're not an enemy to them, and they have fond thoughts about you, so it's a good way to end this peacefully. I'm pretty sure that's what the point of this is, but... Again, we don't want to talk about Mobius. We already know about the facility. Got any amazing discoveries to share?
You know, hearing my name said like that,
It really de-reses my screens.
as for discoveries, well, of course. Look at this. Just, built it. Amazing, isn't it?
And he gives us scrap electronics because he broke something.
It's a discovery. Kilomiles beyond your understanding that... You know what? I'm not even gonna pretend. I broke one of the monitors, and those innards start falling out everywhere. If you could just hold on to that for me until, well, forever, that would be welcome.
Okay, so I need more of those worthless caps to test the CIU barter functions upstairs.
I'd have a few left. Let me check. Yeah, there were a few under the monitors here. Here you go. Keeps the place tidy.
And he gives us 50 bottle caps. Alright, that is all I want to talk to him about, so goodbye.
Until our next scheduled audio transmission and reception, then.
So we've helped. Dala's just staring at us, as Dala does. Dollar bills, y'all. Okay, so we've helped all four of them. Next up is Dr. Klein. So let's come up here and get his attention.
All we asked? If not, we will not hesitate to ask again.
I've done everything except for X2, and I haven't done X2 because it's honestly the easiest thing to do. I wasn't expecting today to be another Yap session, but it's turned into a Yap session. We might not head on to X2 today. I don't know why I didn't think or remember that there's just a lot of talking in this DLC. For context, at this point in the raw recording, I'm at 41 minutes. The actual edited version of this video, we might be at like 35, 36, which is still a lot, depending on what I decide to keep in, that is. I'm assuming it'll be like 6 minutes of Dead Space editing because we haven't really gone anywhere, but now I'm the one yapping, so let's cut that out and talk to Dr. Klein.
Did you retrieve the technologies yet? We need them, as I have indicated.
That was the quest completed just by actually talking to him and not getting to the bottom of the thing. Okay. Science 70, I'd be honored if I could hear any knowledge the think tank had to share on the sciences.
Why, yes. We are filled with the knowledge you speak of. If you wish to know more, simply ask the others. They can help you.
Okay, so that was the world's most useless speech check. Okay, I heard one of the previous visitors to the dome spoke to you, asked some questions.
Oh, yes, the last visitor. Well, the one just before you. Had an interesting name from some language that's almost impossible to speak. What did we speak about? Melancholy fellow. Had questions about history, but our conversation got interrupted. Twice, I believe. Once when the trains got derailed, and then a second time. Oddly enough, now that I'm accessing my databanks, I don't recall what the second time was. Mobius's incessant transmissions keep distracting me. Also, we didn't brain scrub the visitor. He may have left with some knowledge he shouldn't have. I believe, maybe. Oh, well, I'm sure it's of no consequence. I don't make many mistakes in calculation or perception, so probability favors me.
And that also completes the quest he came and went, which, again, all these quests are like easily completed, but that is what it is. And I guess technically Dr. Klein isn't wrong. He's talking about Ulysses, And to Dr. Klein and the think tank, Ulysses leaving with the information he may have learned here is of no consequence to Dr. Klein and the think tank. Nothing that transpires from the other DLCs negatively impacts the Big Mountain people, because even if we do the Lonesome Road DLC and we get to the end, every ending in the Lonesome Road DLC does not impact Big Mountain, really. I'm trying to think if, like, there's any circumstance where they would have been impacted by what happens at the end of that DLC without giving spoilers away. No, there's no direct consequence for the think tank for letting Ulysses leave with the information he gained. So Dr. Klein's right. For him, there's no consequence. Unfortunately for me, there's consequence. The courier is about to have his world thrown upside down because Ulysses is going to go history, bull, bear, old world on us eventually, so that is what it is. And we didn't ask the other doctors about some of these options. We'll ask Dr. Klein about them because he'll probably have the most direct, scientific, air quotes, answer for us.
I am Dr. Klein, Chief Head Researcher of Logistical Operations and Ideology here at Big Mountain. I am surprised you have not heard of me. I am first in my field, first chair, as it were, back in the days of chairs.
So one, that shows that Dr. Klein is, like, incredibly full of himself, as the other doctors are as well, because you have to think, at one point they were, like, the smartest people in the world, so they're gonna think very highly of themselves, and combine that with they're just completely ignorant of what's happening outside of Big Mountain. I don't think they realize there's been a war. They still think they're relevant in the world, but the world that they were relevant in hasn't existed in 200 years. It's an interesting loop of feedback for them. Who is Dr. Mobius?
Dr. Mobius was not the horrifying creature you saw upon the screen, twisted by science. He was once one of us, a friend. He researched in directions contrary to the think tank. Brains, always about the brains. So we exiled him. He says he left of his own volition, but that was to save him the embarrassment. Now he sends his intelligence-consuming scorpions from the Forbidden Zone to plunder the secrets of Big Mountain. He is a menace.
Now we have a Science 25 check or a Medicine 50 check. I'm gonna go with the Medicine check. Actually, no. We'll do Science, because after all, this is a Science DLC. Science 25. These mechanical robo-scorpions consume intelligence. Are you certain of your findings?
Dr. O is certain of his findings, and no one else in the think tank is willing to test the results. Loss of brainial power. Terrifying. O has said on many occasions his inability to comprehend Mobius's robo-schematics is because of repeated robo-scorpion stings.
As we learned of already talking to Dr. O, Dr. Zero, he kind of just breaks things. He doesn't really have the best understanding of how machines work. So he probably tried to figure out what the scorpions do, couldn't figure it out, made up an excuse that was so terrifying that the other robot brains didn't want to try to do it. So that's probably what happened there. We already know about the pacification field. What is this place? We already know. We already know about the pylons. We already know about the Forbidden Zone, so let's ask him about the brain extraction.
Well, we didn't actually do it. We tried to clean up after, as always, but usually the auto-dock runs on remote. But we programmed it, or Mobius did. Still, this new wrinkle with the Tesla coils in your skull was unexpected. I mean, we predicted we'd have a breakthrough eventually, but Dala knows more. She supervised your spine peel and the heart circumcision, then dumped them both into the tanks in the sink above. Quite sanitary. Sure took her time. She always takes longer than projected with lobotomite surgeries. Not sure why.
You said before that Mobius might have my brain.
Yes. In all probable likelihoods, yes. Possibly. That it may have gone to Mobius is merely an inkling. I don't know why, but it may be something involving the surgery code. Actually, I don't know. All I know is it misplaced itself, or it floated off. They get into robots sometimes and go on a tear.
We have a Science 35 check or a Medicine 75 check. Let's stick with the Science. What's this Autodoc surgery code you mentioned?
Mobius's legacy code was in the old auto-dock. Yes, it fried itself after your procedure, so he couldn't tell for sure. It is unfortunate. We would have benefited from knowing how the breakthrough occurred. Even if we installed another chip, the information is lost.
Oh, we get to do both checks this time. Medicine 75, Mobius set up the Autodoc medical routine, so you think he's responsible for the post-organ dump?
Yes, always leaves back doors into things. Have to keep finding them and closing them. The Autodoc is now erased of his routines. It was thorough. Only Mobius would know for sure what happened with the procedure. Perhaps. Well, and your brain, of course, it would know as well.
What do you mean?
It can communicate the procedure when we examine it. It is conceivable to trace its surgical scalpel prints once we have the brain. Might take some time, but your brain has no pain nerve to scream at us while we dissect it. Convenient. I detest screaming in my lab.
Why would Mobius want my brain?
Why does he seek our destruction? Why did he build robot scorpions with intelligence training stingers? It is because he hasn't cleaned his biogel in a long time. Clearly he's got some sort of psychological corrosion. He's mad.
Oh, we get this skill check again. Medicine 50, Robo-Scorpions drain intelligence from living creatures. How? Chems?
I'm not certain. Perhaps it only affects machines. If so, you may be immune. If it is chems, then we have nothing to fear. Since we are afraid, it must not be chems, and you need not fear, which means you can test it. Logical.
Alright, and the rest of the questions we have are about the pacification field, what this place is, the Forbidden Zone, and the pylons, which we already know about, and I don't really want to repeat stuff we already know about, because all this stuff was already explained to us in the beginning, during the opening Yap session, so there's actually no reason to ask these questions. If you want to ask them, boot up the DLC and ask yourself, but I have no reason to ask, so that's all for now. Goodbye.
Yes, a most goodbye.
And that's all the people in the think tank, so let me open my Pip-Boy real quick. And we have 2 quests left available to us right now in the Big Empty, which were the same ones we started the episode with, coincidentally. X2 in Field Research, which we will have to try to tackle next episode. X2 is going to be pretty simple to overcome, and then once we do X2, the rest of the DLC should play out pretty quickly, which will complete the other quest for the jukebox. But that is a next episode thing we will worry about, so boys and girls, if you have enjoyed, as always, give me a like and a sub down below if you have not already. Again, this is Fallout Friday. Every Friday we do play Fallout. We're working our way through New Vegas, and then after this, I might do a community vote whether people want to see Fallout 4 or Fallout 3. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, a pizza.